back for another live, and I don't know if I have my camera set up correctly, because if you saw my last live, this is only the second time ever that I am live streaming here on YouTube, and so I'm still getting used to the setup. But hello, welcome in everyone. I am so excited to have you back for today's live. Today is going to be an interesting one. It's something that I kind of debated on talking about, because anything having to do with weight or fitness, health, working out, your body image, all of these things are obviously very deeply personal, and they are also very controversial, it seems, which is sad, because ever since completely shifting my mindset about my health and my fitness, and kind of taking my spiritual journey and incorporating that into achieving the best body that I could possibly have, and hopefully achieving my best body for life, is something that I'm excited to share about, but could be kind of controversial. So I'm sure you can tell from the title, today's video is going to be all about the spiritual meaning behind your weight gain. And my channel is mostly dedicated towards helping women. So if you are a woman watching this, I'm sure you have had the universal female experience, which is having weight fluctuations in your life. And to make my long story much shorter, I have been through it all. I have been borderline underweight. I have been 20, 30 pounds heavier than my ideal weight. I have been through cycles and years of disordered eating, particularly binge eating. I have never talked about this publicly on social media, and so I hope that YouTube doesn't have a problem with me talking about these disordered eating patterns and things that I've dealt with in the past. But let's go ahead and get into the video. Actually, one thing I'll say is, if you are new to this channel and you're just discovering me for the first time now, my name is Caitlin, and all of my social media content is dedicated towards helping you become your own best version of yourself, or helping you become your own dream girl. So is my mic glitching? I just saw that message. Let me get through this and then I'll check my mic. Let's see, actually I'm checking now. I'm on my iPhone, so I'm hoping, can you hear me a little bit better now? Do I need to get closer to the screen? I will watch this back and see how that goes. But anyway, as I was saying, on my social media channels, I focus on feminine energy, manifestation, leveling up your life in a bunch of different areas, and just becoming the best version of you. So let me see if I can get onto this live. Oh, I've got an ad. Okay. So, back to it. One day I'll get this live situation all figured out, but in the meantime, let's see what I can do with what I've got. So I'll just talk a little bit louder. One of my neighbors is outside doing yard work, and so I'm a little self-conscious that he's gonna hear me, but whatever, that's fine. So when we tend to gain weight or have issues with our health, a lot of the times we like to blame external factors. So it's like, oh, I just got into a new relationship, so whenever you get into a new relationship, you gain weight. Or, oh, I just got a new stressful job, so I don't have time to work out. Or, I just went to college, and you always gain the freshman 15. Or it could be something like, I hate running, or I just can't quit sugar. We always like to blame external factors when it comes to why we don't have our dream body. And I am personally of the belief, after going through so many ups and downs with my own weight, being a college athlete, gaining 20 pounds during the pandemic, that what I've learned is that the body that you have, really only 20% of it is based on what you're eating and what you're doing to work out. I would say probably 80% of it is actually your mindset. And this includes like what's going on with you mentally and spiritually, because the reality is any diet or workout routine will work for you in order to achieve your dream body or to lose weight. And there are so many options out there, whether it's going on your hot girl walks, weightlifting, HIIT exercises, cardio of any form, bar classes, dancing. There are so many different ways to work out to achieve your dream body, and there's a million diets. As we all know, there's like keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, carnivore, intermittent fasting. There's so many different ways that you can achieve your dream body. And so I find it so ridiculous when people, myself included, I'm calling myself out here, are like, oh, well, I'm not in shape because of this thing or that thing, but they're blaming external factors and they're not actually looking at what's going on internally. And so any diet or workout plan will work for you, but none of them will work for you if you're not right spiritually, mentally, internally, if you don't have like your inner work done, if you're someone who's very easily triggered and you're just under high stress, maybe your nervous system is always firing. And so I'm trying something a little different today. My notes are on my laptop because it was just so much effort to write them out onto a notebook last time. So if you see me looking down, this is what I'm looking at. I just can't remember every single thing that I wrote down. So a great example of this is when like a girlfriend of yours gets out of a toxic relationship and she like immediately glows up. Yes, some of that is because she has a bit more time to dedicate to herself, but a lot of it is because she's not stressed anymore. She's not like, getting triggered all the time. She's not in a toxic situation. Her nervous system is able to like decompress and come down from being in that toxic situation. And so she starts thriving. The weight just will fall off of her naturally and her hair will be all shiny and she'll just look so much better and brighter. And I firmly believe that is because it's not because of like, oh, suddenly she's eating right again. It's because, she's much better internally. And so depending on what stage you're at in your life, like depending on what stage you're at in your spiritual journey, in your self-awareness journey, there can be very specific reasons for your weight gain that have nothing to do with external factors. And so I'm planning on doing, I got someone trying to call me. I should have put my phone in do not disturb. I have a video coming out on Friday that's going to be all about how to get yourself out of survival mode, because that's just like the base level of doing inner work. And so I've kind of developed a framework of like different stages of consciousness or awareness that most women go through. And at each stage, there's different reasons why you might be hanging on to really stubborn weight. And so I came to this realization personally when I was really in the depths of binge eating last winter. I really want to limit the amount of times that I say that so YouTube doesn't get mad at me. And I just remember being so angry with myself every time I would just like turn my brain off and turn to food as a coping mechanism. And I finally had to tell myself, Caitlin, no sane, well-adjusted, happy, mentally okay person is turning to food in order to self-soothe. That's just not a normal person behavior. That's not like a healthy and happy person behavior. So I had to really dig in to myself and do years of basically, I've been binge eating off and on for like a decade now. But it's actually been months of me like journaling, meditating, figuring out why the heck do I just turn my brain off and go to food, and I come out of these binge eating sessions just feeling absolutely horrible. And so once you have that realization of like no healthy and happy person is going to be having this horrible toxic relationship with their body, with working out, and with food, we can kind of, now that we know there's a problem, we can figure out what's actually going on and we can get to the root of it. So I hope the mic is working now. I see your comment, Anastasia. I really hope it's working. I'll have to watch this back and check for myself, but live streaming on my phone is like just the best, easiest method for me right now. So let's get back into it. So if you are in survival mode, this is going to be a place where it's really difficult for you to lose weight. So what survival mode is it's basically like if a tiger is chasing you, for example, in the wild, your body's systems will start to shut down in order to get you out of that stressful situation. And being in survival mode, it's not something that our body is meant to be in long term. It's meant to be like a quick state that your body is in just to get past this like fear for your life. And a lot of people are stuck in survival mode these days, whether that's because they're single moms. Anastasia, okay, I got a little bit closer to the camera, and I'm talking a little bit louder. Who cares if someone on the street can hear me? Thank you for letting me know. I appreciate that. But a lot of people are in survival mode these days because of social media. Maybe they feel a lot of pressure from family situations that they're in. But you're in survival mode because you'll have like a variety of physical symptoms. So for me, when I was like deeply in the depths of survival mode, I have an Apple Watch. My Apple Watch, my heart rate would always be really abnormally high, which never made any sense to me because I was a pretty strong cardiovascularly fit person. Like I was working out regularly, I was going on runs. My resting heart rate should not have been as high as it was. I could almost always feel my heartbeat, like either in my head. I also had really bad stomach problems off and on for years. I would have really, really bad bloating, and I'd also have really bad acne. I'd have a really hard time sleeping at night. I was also pretty sure I was grinding my teeth at night because my boyfriend would always tell me, like, I can hear you grinding your teeth when he would come over, or when I went to visit him last March for my birthday. And so when you're in survival mode, your body is trying to protect itself. And if you think about it, the reason why we gain weight is your body is trying to store fat so that at a future date, it can use that fat to survive. So gaining weight is your body's natural reaction to, okay, like things are good right now, we're gonna pack this weight on. So when our life is in danger, that way we have this weight in order to keep us safe. And so weight gain, when you are incredibly stressed out, your nervous system is firing and you are just like in survival mode, it's your body trying to keep you safe. So when I first came to this realization, I cried for so long. I cried like every night for like a week straight because I was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you, body, for keeping this extra weight on me in order to keep me safe." Um, like in older times, I don't want to say ancient times, but when humans were very young and we were like, as a species, we were very young and we were relying on hunting and gathering in order to have food, food was a scarce resource. It wasn't just like we could walk into the pantry and have a binge eating session. And then we have our sustenance for the day. So our body developed that mechanism of keeping weight on. And so in order to get out of survival mode or to like, I don't know, shed this extra weight that's keeping you safe when you're in survival mode, you have to do your inner work and you have to get your nervous system to a point where it feels safe. And this is very, very hard to do if you're staying stuck in survival mode. So like I said, I have a video coming in 2 days all about how to get out of survival mode. I probably should have uploaded that one first, but my schedule has been all over the place this week. I've had a lot of random stuff come up, like getting a windshield repaired and blah, blah, blah. But you need to get to a point where your nervous system feels safe. So if possible, get yourself out of the stressful situation that you're in. If you can't do that, there's all kinds of different things that I'll be talking about more so on Friday of just like how to create a safe space for yourself within your current life circumstances so that you can regulate your nervous system and get out of survival mode. Another great way to get out of survival mode and to sort of like let your nervous system decompress is do emotional release activities. So what emotional release activities are is when you're in survival mode, you are just so stressed, so overwhelmed. A lot of the emotions that you feel will get like trapped in your body and you have to find a way to release them. And this isn't always possible in the moment. So if you are working a super, super stressful job where every day you're like just trying to hold it together so you can get through the workday, and then you get home and you just kind of like numb yourself out. Maybe you drink a glass of wine or you just scroll your phone endlessly. You're not actually giving your body an opportunity to like let out that stressful or fearful or angry reaction. And so I know it sounds silly, but it could be screaming into a pillow. I've totally done that before and it's really helped me just like get all of that like angry, frustrated emotion out of my body. You can work out. You can, I'm trying to think of other ways. I have like a whole list for my script for my video on Friday. You could go for a run, you can vent to a friend, you can just like angrily shake your body. I know that a lot of people are really into like somatic healing these days, which is movement that kind of like helps release trapped emotions. And so when you're doing these emotional release activities in order to get out of survival mode and like process the emotions in a healthy way, you won't feel the need to eat your feelings. Because a lot of the time when you're in survival mode and you've gained extra weight, that's what it is. You're eating your feelings. You're turning to food as a coping mechanism to bring your nervous system back down to a de-escalated, neutral, peaceful state. And you're turning to food, which is not the appropriate reaction. No healthy, sane person who's well adjusted is turning to food in order to get out of survival mode. You have to instead move your emotions out of your body in a much healthier way. And I can see that I'm red. It's because it's really, really hot in this room right now, but I don't want to turn the fan on because then it's going to be really loud. So like I said, we're still working on this live streaming thing. Thank you for everyone for bearing with me. So say you're not in survival anymore, and you're not survival mode anymore. The next phase after survival mode, I like to call go mode. So when you're in go mode, it means that you've kind of gotten yourself out of the situation that you were in previously when you were in survival mode. So maybe you've gotten out of a really terrible job, or you've gotten out of a really bad relationship, or you've left your really toxic family dynamic. That's great, but a lot of the times when we have gotten ourselves out of survival mode, we enter go mode, which is like the mode of like endless to-do lists, gotta do a million things. It's, you know, having a really tight schedule. It's just like putting way too much on your plate and really overwhelming yourself in the name of like being a strong independent woman, or in the name of like going after your goals. And go mode is great because you can get a lot of stuff done when you're in go mode, but when you're in go mode and you're just like putting way too much, like your nervous system isn't afraid for its life anymore. It's not like you feel fear or you feel unsafe. Now you're just going way too fast. And so when you're in go mode, you're typically putting, like I said, way too much on your plate. You're giving too much to people outside of you. You're giving too much to your job. You're giving too much to your friends. You're giving too much to your family. You're giving too much to your relationship. And there's nothing left for you. So the solution for how you can shed weight, if you're not in survival mode anymore, but now you're in go mode, how you can get rid of the weight is, again, emotional release activities. Do things that can kind of like get rid of those negative emotions so that you're using healthy coping mechanisms instead of turning to food. But what you need to do when you're in go mode in order to lose the weight is slow down. Oh, I feel like such a hypocrite saying this because I was stuck in go mode for a very long time as well. Just not getting any sleep at night, trying to do the workouts, have the social life, be a good employee, be a good daughter, be a good girlfriend, and I left nothing for myself. And so if you are in go mode, prioritizing your peace is going to be the number one priority for getting your nervous system back to like a neutral state where your body is not stressed out and holding on to fat anymore. And so this can look like literally taking things off of your plate. So when I was in go mode, I was trying to be like a part-time creator and working 40 hours a week and trying to hang out with my friends and manage my long distance relationship at the time and make sure that I was spending the appropriate amount of time with my family who I was living with. Love you, family. I do not mean any disrespect. I'm grateful that I got to live with you guys for a little bit when I needed it. But what I did in that case is, as frustrating as it was, I had to put my content creation on the side. I completely stopped uploading on YouTube for like 6 months. I really scaled down my social media posting for a few months, and then when I did get back onto it, I did it in a lot more sustainable way. I really cut down my workout routine, which was also very difficult for me at the time because I love working out, but when you're in go mode and you want to lose weight, you have to prioritize the things that are like the absolute essentials, just so you can get your nervous system back to like a neutral state. Another way that you can kind of slow down when you're in go mode is tapping into feminine energy. And I did my last live stream all about feminine energy, so I'm not going to get too in depth with it here. But feminine energy is the energy of slowing down, of flow, of surrender, of enjoying the moment, rather than the masculine energy, which is like goal-oriented, task-oriented, go, go, go. The reason I don't think that getting into your feminine energy is helpful when you are in survival mode is because you're just trying to feel safe. No amount of slowing down and relaxing and like going within and tapping in and meditating is going to get you out of a super, super stressful situation where like you feel unsafe and your nervous system feels threatened. But when you're in go mode and technically things are fine, you're just going too fast, tapping into your feminine energy, even if you just spend 5 minutes meditating every day, even if you just literally slow down your daily movements every day. So a great example of this is my last job before I moved to Kansas City was I worked as a bank teller. And when I first started that job I was there for I think almost 2 years. For like the first year and a half of me being at that job, I was go, 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 which was appropriate at times when the bank was super busy. But even when the bank was not busy, I found myself moving a million miles an hour. I was like dropping things and rushing and stubbing my toe and running into things. And I was just moving way too fast. So when I finally learned to embody my feminine energy, I was still able to get the same amount of stuff done in a workday, but I was doing it in a way that wasn't so frantic and over the top and like creating more stress than there actually was. So, if you feel you are not in survival mode anymore, you are not in go mode anymore, maybe as you're watching this, you're like, Caitlin, I'm past this. I'm already in my feminine energy. I like to call that grow mode. So that means that you are actually giving your nervous system time to heal. You're kind of at a neutral state with your nervous system. You are learning. That's why I call it grow mode. A lot of the times when I think of grow mode, I think of like that girl. Do you guys remember that? That girl, like that girl energy and like, you know, that girl morning routines. When you're in grow mode, you have recognized the fact that food is a source of nourishment and pleasure. It's not a coping mechanism anymore. Someone who's in grow mode, she's very tapped into her feminine energy. Like I said, she's really into self-development. She is, you know, really honing in what kind of workout routines are a good fit for her. When you're in grow mode, you're a lot less likely to gain weight because your nervous system is rested and you've correctly realized on some level that feeling good in your body physically is an important part of what's going on with you spiritually. And so this isn't to say that when you're in grow mode, you have the perfect body. That might not be the case just yet. But at least you'll have the tools in your back pocket and the mindset to get on the right track. And so if you're in grow mode, but you still don't feel like you've got your dream body, like you feel like, you know, hey, I'm really romanticizing my life. I love my job. I either love my relationship or I'm single and I'm feeling at peace, but I still just don't have that dream body yet. There's still a little bit of weight that I need to shed, which is where I'm at now. I feel like I am finally at a place where I'm past survival mode, I'm past go mode. I have a wonderful boyfriend who is providing for me while I start up my coaching business. And so I have really grown and evolved so much in the last like month and a half since I've moved to be here with him, but I still just don't quite have the dream body yet. What you need to do when you're in this situation is just keep going. Like I said, you have the tools, you have the mindset tricks, you know what you need to do in order to get to your dream body. But at this point, it's just having consistency. So for me, what this looks like right now is I have learned what really works for me is that I enjoy running. I'm in my running girl era again. I used to run competitively from like 7th grade all the way through the end of college. I was like actively training to be good at running. And I just got back into it and I love it. It lights me up. It makes me feel powerful. It makes me feel strong. It makes me feel sexy. I also am back into weightlifting. I absolutely love lifting weights. And so for you, it might look like being a Pilates princess. It might look like, you know, being vegan. It might look like keto. It might look like whatever it is that makes you feel lit up and good in your body. So when you're in grow mode and you don't quite have that dream body yet, just keep tapping into what feels good for you. Keep tapping into the things that light you up, because the reality is the worst diet or the only like bad workout that won't work for you are the ones that you don't do, the ones that you don't follow. No matter what it is, if it feels good and it feels right to you, that's the right workout routine for you. That's the right diet for you. I'm not here to sell you on any one exercise regimen or diet plan. Whichever one makes you feel good and makes you feel lit up in your feminine energy, stick to that, and eventually your dream body will manifest. And so that's actually all that I've got for you guys today. So depending on if you're in survival mode, go mode, or grow mode, that will mostly determine how you lose any excess weight. It's not as much about what you're eating and what you're doing to move your body. It's a lot more about what your mindset is like, because as I said in the beginning, any diet or workout routine will work for you, but none of them will work for you if you're not right internally. So I have a little journal prompt for you guys, or something to think about if you are on a weight loss journey and you're in one of these 3 stages of consciousness. Ask yourself, what stage of consciousness are you in between survival mode, go mode, and grow mode? And depending on which stage of consciousness you're in, ask yourself, what is the spiritual meaning of your waking? Is your nervous system really dysregulated? Are you super stressed out? Are you overwhelmed? Is everything good, but you just need a little bit more consistency? What's really going on? Get to the root of what's going on with your body and with any weight gain that you might have. And then the last question is, ask yourself, are there any inner work tools that you want to incorporate into your routine so that you can get back on track? So does that mean that you want to start meditating? Do you want to start journaling? Do you want to start yoga? Do you want to start any particular, inner work tool, shadow work, therapy, inner child healing? There's a million inner work tools, and I will be exploring all of them in the coming, weeks of my channel uploads. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this live stream. A couple more people than showed up for the last one, so I really appreciate that. And Anastasia, I will watch this back and try to figure out if there's anything going on with my mic. I hope not. But I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys on Friday for the video on how to get out of survival mode. Okay, bye.